Right, we are live. I think.
Wala pa.
Na-
Wala pa nagko-comment eh. Hintay mo muna pag may nag-comment. Yan, si Bruce Lim.
Hey Julian, what's up, Bruce? Swell.
Yon, now we are live.
Yeah.
Early,
What
not
up,
really.
Bruce,
6:55.
Julian?
Bruce.
I think a minute early. Kasi 6:54 nag-live si Jasper. So,
It's okay lang. Yeah, it's fine.
yes, it's fine. Julian, we're doing well. Oh, Bruce, moving houses. Good for you, Bruce. Oh,
We're
thank
happy
you.
to be with you as well, Bruce.
Happy with
Thank you for
Yeah.
spending your rainy Thursday with us.
Mac. Hello, Mac.
Si Mac back. Hello, Mac.
What up,
Thank
Mac?
you for coming back. Another week with us.
Yeah. Good luck with your midterms next week and advance
Di ba
happy
saya,
birthday
happy-
to you, Julian.
Yeah, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Julian. Hello, JK. What's up?
Hello.
What up, JK? What up, man? People tuning in after school.
After
Ang bata
work.
naman natin. Ninong
Hi, Chino.
Derv in the
Hello.
house.
Derv, hello.
We are going to cover that, Angelo.
Yeah.
During
Yes,
NXT.
sir.
Uy, Shanghai.
Beating Shanghai.
That's nice.
Good to know. Good to know. Sana
I have a
magamit
question
yung
for all of you.
information.
If you were
Yeah.
getting beaten down, okay, sige.
Wait lang,
Yes,
ito
sorry,
si
Ina,
Ina
may
may
question
question eh.
Hindi, may question ako eh, puta.
Okay. Okay, huwag ka magalit.
Go, Ro.
Magwawain
Ro.
yung listener.
Ask
Yeah.
your question, Ro.
If you were getting beaten down in the middle of the ring by a bunch of guys, who would you want to come save you?
John Cena. For me. He's Super Cena. That's why. He could take one. He could take two. Could take three guys. So I'll go with Cena.
You want Sting to save you, Bruce. Okay.
Ako, Stone Cold.
Oh yeah, that's also a
Ako,
good
Stone
one.
Cold. Stone Cold. Minsan nagdadala pa siya ng truck, di ba? Ng beer
Yeah.
truck.
Julian, what
Stone
if namatay ka kasi Jeff Hardy was busy dancing first before coming down to save you?
Kaya,
What if you had,
or
like, hindi naman
what
namatay.
if you get what if you get hard to kill Jeff Hardy? Huh? What if that's the Jeff Hardy you get?
What if you get
The
Victory
one
Road,
versus
Jeff
Sting,
Hardy?
kung ano
Hindi-
mang pay-per-view.
No, it was Victory Road, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Victory Road, there you go.
Pabagal yun.
What if that's the Jeff Hardy you get? Huh? Undertaker,
Well, Angelo
good
here
choices.
says, the Undertaker, yeah. Hindi na kailangan tumakbo. It's
Parang
gonna
bagal
appear-
ni Undertaker. No, he appears after the lights come
appears-
off. Okay, sure.
Yeah, the
Yeah, he
lights
just
go
like flashes, no? The lights off. Yun, boom.
Pwede rin bang
Sorry,
groups instead of like,
Huh?
instead of a person?
Yeah,
Like
sure,
a group
whatever.
of people? The Shield.
Do your thing, yeah. Sure,
The
why
Shield,
not?
di ba? Kaso galing pa sila sa
Okay, let's shut up. We have a new OBB.
Alright.
Who's ready for story time?
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed.
Let me talk to you.
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
Adam
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb.
I have to finish the story.
We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Run!
Bang! The sniper is shooting you down. This is TMDK's Robbie Eagles.
Hey, this is the Cosmic Cactus, Paul London.
Hello, my name is Ilya Dragunov, the star, the NXT champion, and you're listening to...
And you're listening to...
And you're listening.
And you are listening
And you're listening
to the Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling
Podcast. The Wrestling Podcast.
to the Wrestling Podcast. Yeah.
You are listening and watching to the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. Romaran, Chino, and Emile Nate joining you tonight for your weekly dose of wrestling talk. Let's give a hand to babyface producer Jasper for that brand new OBB. He had the idea to update it. Yeah. And as you can see, medyo up-to-date na siya. Hindi siya medyo laoson pa. So give a hand.
Sorry,
yeah,
yung boss ni Ilya Dragunov. It's like, it's still genius doing it. So
yeah, an update
props
niya
to
Ilya Dragunov was NXT UK champion before this weekend, and now it's updated to NXT champion. So look at that audio magic by
Sabi niya,
babyface
not
producer
AI,
Jasper.
not AI.
Definitely not AI.
Oh my
We are-
God.
Yeah. Not AI made. We're not AI as well, so we're here and live in the flesh. No Stan, he has to deal with a personal family matter, and no Rowan because he's busy with school. He is training to be a dentist. If you've seen the stories, he's already working on almost real teeth. So pretty soon you'll be able to book him as your pro wrestling podcaster / dentist. What up, guys? What up? How are you doing this Thursday evening?
Yeah, doing well. Medyo malamig yung weather, but you know, it is what it is. I actually like it.
Yeah.
Yes, good here as well. Ready to get into this wrestling week.
Yes, sir. We have a lot to talk about. Ang daming ganap. Thursday, Dynamite Day as well. We got NXT Raw and last week's SmackDown as well to talk about. But before we get into all of that, let's do a little plug-in and promotions. Emile, let's tell the people what they can expect when they sign up for our Patreon program.
All right, so if you want to experience Wrestling Podcast in its entirety, all you gotta do is support us by subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/Wrestling Podcast for as low as $5. You'll get benefits of joining our Patreon. Of course, you can join in on our Discord community where you can interact with your fellow podcasts and talk to us about anything. And we also, host some watch parties of your PLEs and pay-per-views. With this upcoming Sunday, we will have an online watch party for Fastlane. So if you want to join in on that, you could do that by subscribing to our Patreon. Also, we have the review content of the weekly wrestling shows from Raw and Rowan, ASH, like Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite, and anything and everything wrestling related weekly. And also, if you join in on our Patreon, you'll get some friendly rates on the service piece on the pasabays that we are doing. So the first 2 batches are done. So if you want to join in on our next batch, and if you want to get that friendly rate, all you gotta do is subscribe. And by supporting our Patreon, you're pretty much supporting everything that we do here in the podcast. So again, please subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/Wrestling Podcast.
Look at Emile calling Rowan ASH like he wasn't an ASH before. On top of the Patreon program, syempre, meron din tayong ganap this weekend. We have Fastlane coming up. There's no live viewing party just yet. Nobody reached out. Well, one person just reached out to ask for a viewing party. So for now, we will be doing it over Discord. We'll be showing the network feed over Discord. And if you don't want to watch that feed as well, you can just jump in and vibe with us as we watch the show in real time. Thank you, babyface producer Jasper. We'll just be doing that on Discord. Again, you can join in if you sign up for our Patreon program for only $5. So maybe we'll probably do one for Survivor Series. Malamang that's gonna be in the cards, so we'll let you know when that is in the books. So let's move to our first topic for tonight. Siyempre, mainit-init pa. Edge or Adam Copeland is all elite. We talked about this noong Picks of the Week episode, but there is definitely a lot more to talk about, especially now that he has appeared on Dynamite and laid out his mission statement. Yes, Max, sorry, Patreon subscription is a monthly thing, but I know it could be a little bit too much, so you can just sign up and support a little bit. You can unsubscribe whenever you want to, like some people are doing. Anyway, ayun. So, on today's episode of Dynamite, Edge, or Adam, spoke for the first time. He laid out a bunch of things. So, first, he said he connected Jay and his childhood, Uncle Jay and his childhood, to Sting. So, that's why he came out to save Sting. So, I didn't know there was a connection like that. So, that was pretty cool of them to establish. And then, after that, he said that the kids would eventually turn on him after they're done learning from him. So his proposed solution is he and Christian Cage team up again and relive their glory days as ENC. So, but syempre, Christian was not having that, and he told Edge to go fuck himself in international television. So, first, what do you guys think of all this? Do you want to see an ENC team up, or actually, do you want to see an ENC feud right now as Edge's first feud in AEW?
For me, they gotta have a feud first, kasi that's one of the things that we never really got, except for that when they were, when they were still young, 2001. Except for that, we never really got a proper Edge versus Adam versus Christian Cage feud. So nararapat lang, and I think both of them want to do it, to have a feud first before teaming up. Kasi yung teaming up, nakita na natin before. We have seen it. They have reunited time and time again before. So, I think feud muna, and then eventually, whatever happens, they'll go back to teaming up with each other.
Yes,
Chino.
I am also for the team up. For the feud. Not so much on the team up, kasi ilang beses na natin nakita yan eh. That's what they're known for, diba? They're an established tag team together. However, that rivalry never happened, really, Flash in the Pan. But that was about it. So I would be more interested in seeing Edge and Christian face each other as polar opposites. Kasi even si Edge, sinabi niya na he wants to end during the press conference, the media scrum after. Sinabi niya na he wants to end his career with Jay, with Christian. So wherever Christian is, nandoon siya, diba? So seeing a matchup between Edge and Christian might be a good way to wrap things up for Adam before he moves on to other pastures.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think Tony Khan knows what he's doing when he paired Edge and Christian up as opponents. Because yeah, you're right. Now that I think about it, they never really did that thing after 2001. Because Vince never really believed in Christian that much. But now Christian is on the run of his life, and I think Tony Khan trying to take a stab at it with Edge and Christian at the wheel. I think it's going to be a lot better, especially now that they are kind of established former world champions. So that's pretty cool. And then Edge said that in his farewell post noong Monday Manila time, he said that he just outgrew WWE, and in essence, WWE had nothing left for him, and now he's going to be a full-timer for AEW. Is this something that you guys are interested in? Because we've, over the past few years since Edge returned, he was a part-timer. But do you guys believe that he has it in him to do this a little more full-time as he rides off into the sunset?
Siguro,
If he truly wants to, then I think he... Yeah.
Sorry, grabe yung lag. So,
Yeah, oo nga.
siguro,
Chino, go.
siguro, kasi we've seen him do this before in the WWE. Diba? Before he left for AEW, he was on there on almost a weekly basis, diba? Facing off against the Judgment Day, and then injured siya, but then came back and did another run. So, kaya naman niya eh, di ba? The thing is, AEW is already a stacked roster, di ba? Ang dami na natin beses kinall out na ang dami nilang tao masyado sa roster nila. They keep hiring all these people that they don't have all the airtime for all of them. Maybe things change because they have 3 shows on the air now with a fourth one supposedly coming. Pero I'm of the opinion na pag nag-weekly si Edge dyan, kakain na naman siya ng madaming airtime and mawawalan ng time yung mga tao that have been there. You know, so while it is good that we get to see Edge more often, kawawa naman yung people who've stuck around. And that's just where I'm coming from.
On that note, actually, Edge's full-time run begins with a match next week on Tuesday, which we'll talk about a little more later then. It's versus Luchasaurus. And syempre, his full-time schedule means he's going to have to wrestle a lot more of the AEW roster and not just yung mga big names. So, Emile, what do you think of his first ever AEW match coming against one Luchasaurus who isn't really, a big-time legend or main eventer or anything?
I mean, it's kind of refreshing then because, in yung final run ni Edge sa WWE, it was mostly against the big names. It was like against Rollins, Reigns, and all that. Pero this time, I think Edge really wants to wrestle the younger guys. I think yun yung his primary motivation in going to AEW is to be able to work with the new guys, to test himself if he still has it. He still has the capability of going toe to toe against the young, fresher guys. And even though Luchasaurus ain't like the best young prospect out there, I'm sure Edge is happy to be wrestling, someone new for the first time.
Yeah, it's funny though because Luchasaurus, and he listed off a bunch of names from promo niya, diba? So, but I think Luchasaurus versus Adam Copeland is going to be a lot of fun. We'll talk about that a little more later, yung programming na yun. But I wanted to ask you guys, because Edge also declared that he is eventually going after the AEW World Championship, is this a thing that you want to see happen? Edge being a world champion in AEW to collect that belt as well. What do you think, Chino?
Ako sana hindi. They did do it for other guys like CM Punk and all the other guys that they called over, Chris Jericho and the like. Pero hindi nila ginawa for Daniel Bryan. They didn't do it for Bryan Danielson. They haven't done it for Adam Cole. Diba? So my thinking is not everybody needs the rub. Certainly not an established legend like Edge. I don't think he needs to win the title, and I also don't think him winning the title will help AEW kasi at this current stage, ang champion ngayon si MJF, diba? If Edge takes out MJF on his way out, kawawa naman si MJF. Diba? They just did him dirty like that. Pero for Edge to just stay there and impart his wisdom and go on this journey that he wants to go on, I think mas appropriate yon during this later run in his career.
Yeah. Bruce asks if Edge was part of a wrestling promotion before WWE. No, he was an independent wrestler before signing with WWE's developmental system. He did have a stint, one match in WCW. They brought him in, parang extra sa dark. So, yun. Emile, what do you think of the possibility of Adam Copeland becoming a AEW world champion?
Even though I don't think he needs to win the world title, because at this point he's like Sting. Like, he's already a legend. He's already a Hall of Famer. Establishing legacy niya even without winning any titles in AEW. Pero at the same time, I can't help to think na maybe the possibility of winning a world title is one of the reasons why Edge went from WWE to AEW. Because in WWE, so remember, like, the first program that he had was trying to win no, the second program that he did was trying to go after the Universal Championship, which hindi nangyari. So I think that's one of his motivations is to win a world title, to I think cap off his legendary career, like one more title run in his belt before he hangs it up for good. So siguro it will happen, pero in my opinion, he doesn't really need to. You know.
I actually disagree with what Chino said. AEW doesn't need it. I think they do need it, especially if you want to keep washing off the taint of CM Punk. Not his taint, but the taint that he left behind in AEW. Hindi naman sinasabi na he should beat MJF and steal the championship from him agad-agad. It's more of like they should do what they did with Jericho in the very first Dynamite and AEW pay-per-view and just have him win the championship to put a little more name recall and power in that title belt. So I want to see that happen. I think he deserves it, naman. I think he deserves to be. If you're gonna put the championship on a CM Punk, diba, you might as well put the championship on one of the biggest signings you've ever made. And on that note, let's start up a little controversy here and ask. We asked kanina who in the last episode who was the bigger win for WWE or AEW, Jade or Edge, diba? But now who was the bigger signing between Edge and CM Punk? What do you guys think? Chino, what do you think of this?
Ako, kasi CM Punk had his moment. But I think in the larger scale of things, Punk was just a flash in the pan compared to Edge. Edge sure disappeared for a good amount of time. But he was as hot coming back as when he left. Si CM Punk kasi, he was there sporadically. And for a long amount of time in AEW, he was, when he came to AEW, established person na siya. Diba? Not to say that Edge wasn't established, but when CM Punk came, he was known for something. He was notorious for something, diba? And it's that notoriety that led to him eventually finding a home with AEW. But you have to understand, si CM Punk walked away from wrestling voluntarily. Diba? Si Edge had to retire due to injury, so his comeback was a lot more welcome, kumbaga, to the larger wrestling audiences. He contributed to it a lot more. Ako, feeling ko mas makakatulong sa image ng AEW ngayon, especially because it's an upstart company. It's not even 10 years old. To have somebody with a known, recognizable reputation like Edge. So I feel like, especially with his track record in the WWE, that Edge might be the better signing here.
Emile.
I think in hindsight, Edge will turn out to be the bigger signing. Kasi like hindi mo pa masabi yun kasi Edge just debuted. You still don't know what he's gonna do, what his run will turn out to be. Kasi we already seen it with CM Punk, and his debut when he came in, it was like the biggest thing in wrestling. Like he was able to he was able to help AEW sell out United Center, which is one of the biggest arenas in that area in Chicago, diba? And he was a draw. Like, even though his run ended badly, we all can say that CM Punk is a draw. Here, kailangan pa natin makita if Edge is gonna draw the same amount of people as Punk did. Pero I think when all is said and done, Edge will have the bigger impact in AEW than CM Punk.
Yeah, I agree with all of you guys. Not because I'm biased against Punk right now, but syempre, on paper, Edge is still the bigger deal. Like, he's an Attitude Era legend. He's a Ruthless Aggression Era legend. He's a PG Era legend. So he's been a legend for what? 3 decades, in at least 3 decades, diba? So Punk is big. He's a big deal, pero people are right. Julian's right here. He was only big. He was only really big in the early 2010s, and then he left WWE, which is something I'm not begrudging him for. Pero when you think of me, or at least when you ask the casual WWE fan or wrestling fan who is more resonant with them, I would think they'd say Edge, because he just goes as far back as you can remember. And then again, let's indulge Glendale's question here. I think it's a good final question. Which return or debut was bigger for you guys? Is it his comeback nung Royal Rumble 2020 or his current move from WWE to AEW? Because I think the question is pretty complex here. Chino, what do you think?
The Royal Rumble was still special for me because we
Right.
thought he was done, diba? We thought he was done, and
Yeah.
then we hear the intro drop, diba? That
Yeah.
we thought Edge, diba? Nagkaroon pa nga ng segment na papatayin siya ni Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
In the middle of the ring. Because we all thought
Yeah.
it was done. He got inducted
Yeah.
to the Hall of Fame because that's what you do. But that's what you do when you retire. He started acting on TV. I remember seeing him on that sci-fi
Yeah.
show. But
Haven,
I
yeah.
thought he was like, it was nice to have you, Edge. Now he's moving on to different parts of the career. And then the Rumble happened. And then you see him walk out. And then you see him spear people. Doon pa lang nag-sink in na, oh my God, he's really back. Diba? Doon siya nag-start eh. So if it weren't for that, we wouldn't have everything else.
Yeah. No, you're right. Glendale's right. He did tease his return when he speared Elias. Emile, what is the bigger moment?
Same thing. Royal Rumble. Kasi like all the reasons she just said, we all thought he was done wrestling. Plus at that point it was like 9 years or 10 years, I don't know, 9 years na since he retired. And wala namang rumors at that time. No, there was a little bit of rumors, but it's one of those like I will believe it when I see it. But at that point, I thought, okay, Edge he's not gonna come back. I mean, he did say na if he take one more neck bump, there's a chance
He
that
would
he
die,
might
yeah.
die, diba?
Yeah.
So that's
That
a
was
risk
before he...
yeah, that was a risk na anyone really wouldn't take, diba? Kasi it's a sensitive issue, pero he went through all of that and still managed to come back. So that was a very hard bigger moment. Like sobrang sobrang emotional moment din yun for I'm sure a lot of fans who saw him and then saw his retirement and now to see him come back in that match. That was the bigger moment for sure.
On the point of the rumors, it's really funny because Edge couldn't do a big career decision without the dirt sheets finding out about it. People, the sheets rumored his comeback in 2020. Tapos now they rumored his move to AEW. So it's the second time that he had to deny these rumors vigorously. To answer the question, I agree, pero the move is a huge deal. It really gave the comeback a run for its money. Kasi yun nga, as Aaron said here in the comments on YouTube, they did steal a WWE lifer. Like that's not a small thing. And if he wasn't injured to the point of almost dying, then that would have been the biggest moment in his career. All right, that's enough Edge talk for now. We spent 20 minutes talking about Edge, but that's okay because it's better than spending 20 minutes talking about CM Punk's latest controversy. Before we move on to the other stuff in the WWE, let's hear from our fellow podcasts on the Pod Network. All right, we're back. Let's move on to the WWE. Babyface producer Jasper, let's move on to the slide after this one. Para connect pa rin kay Edge. The next one, the Tuesday Night Tango, because Edge is debuting to wrestle for AEW Dynamite on Title Tuesday, October 10, kasi they were moved back because of, I think, Major League Baseball. So it's going head-to-head with NXT, exact same time slot, and in response to what is pretty much going to be a big TV viewing appointment over on TNT, TBS. WWE has really stacked up NXT, and check nyo, baka book pala kayo sa NXT next week. So it has Cody Rhodes, as you can see here. It has Becky Lynch. It has John Cena, and it also has Paul Heyman. So, Chino, I want to ask you, kasi it was panahon mo. Was this how it felt like during the Monday Night Wars? Although, syempre, we didn't get it live in the Philippines.
It ramped up pretty significantly. Pero nung simula, parang pipikunan lang sila. They're just calling each other names. Diba? Nothing really of this level. People try to one-up each other. Diba? Like DX going to WCW with a tank. That sort of gimmick. Pero nothing so extreme as this. Na parang head-to-head, bigger stars against biggest stars. Let's go all out. Of course, the landscape definitely has changed. Diba? There are a lot more shows now that to cover, and there are a lot more stars to go around. So, yes and no. I would say more on the no side. As for NXT, they're good for them. It's just funny how Braun Breaker is suddenly a Paul Heyman guy now. Tapos just so they can bring Paul Heyman in. Tapos si Melo, so all of a sudden kaibigan din si John Cena. Like it's just very 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 weird for me.
Yeah. Before I talk to Emile here, I want to address yung sinabi ni Julian and Glendale. They said that it's petty and desperate. Guys, we weren't alive. No, we weren't watching wrestling. No, some of you might not have been alive, but we weren't watching wrestling live and in person noong Monday Night Wars. And the way TV works is if you want the big advertisers to come watch or to come place in your show and have you make money, you really got to pull in the ratings. And if you are actually going up head to head against a similar program, the exact same competition that you have, then somebody's got to give. The ratings will go down for one of these shows, and you want to make sure that your show is not the one who's losing. So
yes,
you got to bring out all the big guns talaga. It's not petty. Yeah, sorry. Go.
Sorry. Malaking bagay yung 70-something weeks na natalo ng WWE, yung Nitro, yung WWE. Because at that time, Nitro wasn't really beating WWE, or the WWE was beating Nitro. Diba? Nung nagkaroon ng, when they got Hogan, when they debuted the NWO, that was a pretty big deal. Diba? Doon umangat yung stock ng WCW to the point that they became such a threat that Vince McMahon decided to just buy them out para lang matapos na yung drama. That's how it ended, guys. Learn your history. Diba? He didn't want to do the Monday Night Wars anymore. Doon sila ka-threatened by WCW. So, this whole thing is actually more important if you think about it. Kasi hindi kaya bilhin ni Vince McMahon at this current state yung AEW eh. So, wala siyang choice ngayon. Kailangan talaga nila labanan yung Dynamite with whatever they have.
I want to correct Chino there. The reason why the Monday Night War stopped is because AOL Time Warner sold WCW. They didn't want to be in the wrestling business anymore. So they did win. WWE did win on their own, thanks to Vince Russo, I guess. So it's just that they eventually did, sell WCW. It's not petty because it's just business. It's the way you're supposed to run your TV business, especially when there are so many other options on the air, diba? It's desperate, yes, but only because it's NXT, guys. Your biggest star over there right now is Becky Lynch. So you are going up against the full force of the AEW roster. So on that note, Emile, what do you think is the more compelling show given what we know heading into Tuesday?
Because I've been watching NXT lately. It's really getting good. Ito na yung talagang main show na I really have to catch every week, NXT. But, the AEW still, the title Tuesday Dynamite is still, I think, has more bigger gravitas than NXT. Kasi, it has Adam Copeland's AEW debut. And I think they stacked up the card as well, pretty well, based on what I saw earlier. The matches that were announced for next week. John Moxley and Phoenix are gonna have a rematch again for the international title, and you can see now both of these companies are trying to up their game for next week, which is only ang mananalo dito is yung fans. They'll get two solid shows on the same day. Di naman nila kailangan panoorin sabay ng live. You could watch one
No,
live,
I
then
mean,
you could watch one the other, di ba?
for us, yes, it doesn't matter because we're not
Yeah, for
watching this
the,
on our cable TV live. Pero
for the companies,
for them,
yeah, okay.
it's literally it is a matter of business because
Yeah, okay,
their
yeah.
business hinges on how many people watch live on TV. So you can't discount it like that.
Yeah, okay,
On that note, I think AEW is gonna be fine because of Edge, but I think Edge is their only weapon. I think NXT bringing in John Cena and Paul Heyman and Cody is gonna be a little more interesting. And I want to see what they're gonna do and say. Diba? We know Edge is gonna wrestle Luchasaurus. I know it's gonna be good, and I can always catch that. Well, obviously, if I were in the U.S. watching live, I do want to hear what the big names have to say on the developmental show. Chino, what do you think? What's the more interesting show?
I'm going with you here. I'm going to say NXT. I'm going to think of it. I'm going to think of it in terms of segments. So you have Cena and Heyman in one segment, Becky Lynch in another, Cody also doing his own segment. So that's 3 segments to watch out for versus
Asuka.
that one.
Si Asuka pa.
Si Asuka
Oh yeah,
pa,
Asuka.
4.
Yeah, right. Forgot.
Yeah, Asuka versus Roxanne, diba? 4. Versus that one Adam Copeland match. Diba? So yung Adam Copeland
Yeah,
match,
exactly.
you can watch it for like 20 minutes and then what are you gonna do with the rest of your time? Diba? Syempre, you're gonna switch back to NXT because there's a chance you might miss out on whatever Cody Rhodes is going to decide. You might miss out on Asuka versus Roxanne, which might be a banger, by the way. So, ang dami mo pang pwedeng gawin sa NXT. They're offering a lot more for you for the same amount of time as Dynamite. And kung ako yung viewer, mas uunahin ko yung NXT.
Yeah, actually, ganun talaga. All right, we've talked about this hilarious Tuesday night battle here. So let's move on back to other things in WWE. Babyface producer Jasper, let's show the slide we skipped. The Street Profits are now officially heels. Yun nga, for the first time in their WWE careers. They took the challenge from Bobby Lashley, who told them that they weren't hard enough to do what needs to be done. So, guys, what do you think of the Street Profits finally giving in and doing the quote-unquote mature thing? Because people, when they want to take it to the next level, they turn heel. Emile, what do you think of this change?
Akala ko when they returned, they were already heels. Pero di pa pala. This is the official heel turn. And sometimes I don't like the trope na to be taken seriously, you have to turn heel. Like, it's been done so many times before, pero, it's a wait and see with the Street Profits because, again, they've never been heels. I mean, Dawkins was a heel in NXT, pero with the Street Profits as a team, their gimmick relies on them being babyface. So maybe this is a gimmick change. Like, I need to see something different with the presentation, with the attitude, with the manner, with the actions. They need to be different than the babyface Street Profits. Kasi kung hindi, people are gonna cheer on them, and that's something you really don't want. To have your reactions being as a heel, diba? So, I'm interested to see. I mean, at least I'm interested to see how are they gonna look as heels.
All right, Chino, what do you think of the heel Profits, as Awi says?
Yeah, boy, I missed the Hurt Business, by the way. It's just such a...
Yeah.
such a... Didn't we see this already, honestly? Did we not? If the Street Profits wanted to be tough and go to the next level and all that, but kailangan nila si Bobby Lashley? Diba? Is that important to their story? Couldn't they just have found another way without burning Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin like they didn't exist in the stable before? Diba? It's exactly the same thing, man. They just put 2 new black guys in suits and then just repack and called it a repackage. And it's just honestly as much of as many good things as are happening in the WWE in terms of writing. This is probably got to be one of the lower ones na hindi ako na-excite at all. Kasi nangyari na to eh. Nangyari na eh.
To be fair, I do think they needed Lashley because they were the ones to guide, or he was the one rather to guide Street Profits into being winners again. So I think that's what the role of Bobby Lashley was really. And Emile is right. I do want to see something different. Kasi before this, they were still, grappling with the question of whether or not they were gonna change whoever they were to become winners. And pag ganito kasi, it's like Crime Time. Remember when Crime Time turned heel? Si Shad turned heel pala. And when he broke up with JTG, so he did also wear a suit. They literally recycled all this trope for Shelton and Cedric as well. So it's a thing that keeps happening actually to black wrestlers. Now that I think about it. It's one of those things. I hope that they shed everything that was likable about the Street Profits gimmick, and not them become boring. But if you can do Hurt Business a lot better, then more power. Then that's going to be the key. All right, before we talk about Fastlane, again, let's indulge John's question here. We were going to talk about it noong audio only natin later on, and it's going to be a bonus episode. But let's talk about DIY. DIY came back after the Tommaso Ciampa versus Gunther match for the Intercontinental Championship on Monday's Raw, and Emile says that they didn't get to show the whole thing. The broadcast cut out. So, did we see this coming when Gunther or when Ciampa became the guy to challenge Gunther? So, I think at this point it's safe to say that the Gable story is pretty much over because they traded this for DIY's reunion. Chino, what do you think of this? Is it a good thing to mark Johnny Gargano safe from releases?
Yes. Yes. Kasi, I don't know if you follow Tommaso Ciampa on social media, but he spent like the last few months looking for Johnny Gargano. He was walking around with a flyer that says, "Have you seen Johnny?" Asking all sorts of people. It was almost comedic, diba? Until you realize na ito pala yung build-up nun. And honestly, I like how they connected the two worlds, the two storylines, making what he was doing on his own personal social media a reality in the WWE. So parang it actually gave creative an excuse to bring Johnny Gargano back and to reunite him with Tommaso Ciampa. And hopefully, both of them are healthy enough to go on that run that they never got to do. Diba? Kasi remember when they first got called up to the main roster, magkasunod silang na-injure and then they had to go back to NXT because they didn't have enough space for them on the main roster. So, sana this time around, with things being different and all, with essentially what was the black and gold brand moving to the main roster to Raw, we get to see more of DIY, mix it up with all sorts of other tag teams. Because I'm a huge DIY fan, and I love to see them reunited.
I'm also happy. I also saw this coming. I think I
Emile, what do you
tweeted
think
something.
of that?
Yeah, I tweeted something before the match, and I have a feeling DIY will reunite at the end of the night because the match was in the main event, so something big might happen, and it did. And Johnny returned, and all I want is for DIY to have an extended run, because if they do a short run, then Tommaso's gonna turn on Johnny. They're gonna have a feud. I really don't expect much people to know the backstory, the history between these two. Say their history was in NXT, pero this really the first time na magsasama sila sa main roster as a team. So for them to do for them to do a feud eventually, they need to have this long run where they go after the tag team titles, feud with the biggest tag teams on the roster, like really establish them as a team, as DIY, not just two singles guys who was a team before, tapos magti-team lang for a while and they're gonna feud with each other. So I'm hoping that both of them are healthy to be able to have that run, and eventually, they're gonna feud. Pero sana matagal pa yun. They need to have a run first as a team talaga in the main roster.
Yeah. So Julian says Emile is taking Rowan's job as the great manifester. Yeah, that'll be the
Rowan
day.
is still the
All
great
right, yeah.
manifester.
Yeah, I didn't expect yung DIY reunion. It's really good. now that this happened, everything that happened over the past few weeks made sense, and I like the way na tinahi nila from Gable to Champa, and then now with Gargano coming back. So I am not sure they are gonna be beating anyone for the tag team championships just yet. Although with the Judgment Day almost about to implode, I'm pretty sure that's happening soon. It could be a possibility, but I'm not gonna hold my breath on it kasi ang dami pang ibang tag teams and we only have really one set of championships to go around. So, but it's really great though. I'm glad to see that Gargano was marked safe from getting released a couple of weeks ago. So that's pretty good. It's I would hope that Triple H went to bat for him and pinotektahan niya yung mga bata niya. So, yeah, good job there, Papa H. All right, let's move on to the main event of this live stream. We have a pay-per-view, a premium live event happening this Saturday, U.S. time. It's Fastlane, and we have around 5 matches. Yeah, 5 matches on the card, barring any new bookings that they might make. Let's proceed to the first match, Babyface versus Jasper. Yon, we don't know what the first match actually is going to be, but for now we have the WWE Women's Championship match between Asuka, Charlotte Flair, and the champion Io Sky. So, is this going to be a routine defense for Io Sky, Chino?
I think so. I think if they're really serious about banking on Io, they're going to give her landmark victories against these two established vets. So I think Io should keep the title.
Emile.
Shout out to my schoolmate Will. Be honest in the comments. He said Charlotte's gonna win, but I think this is gonna be an Io win. And I think Charlotte is gonna be the one taking the pin. I don't know, kasi it should have been just a one-on-one match. Like I don't know bakit na naman sumulpot si Charlotte dito sa title picture na to. Like she literally just inserted himself in the title picture when it should have been just a one-on-one match between Io and Asuka. So, but I did say na they're treating Io's reign great so far. They don't treat her as a champion na nakachamba lang with the Money in the Bank. So for more establishment as the women's champion, I'll go with Io Sky.
Yeah. I don't know if there's going to be anything happening. I don't think the damage control breakup is happening anytime soon. I think they paused that the same way they paused yung Judgment Day breakup. So I think it's going to be a routine defense for me with Io Sky retaining. I think if ever, the big match is still Io versus Bayley, and you got to build up to that, and it would be better with the championship on Io. So yeah, let's move on, Jasper. Next match, the WWE Tag Team Championship, Judgment Day versus Jay Rizzo and Cody Rhodes. Chino, are we getting a new tag team champion here?
Ako no. I think the Judgment Day still hold the title, although I think this will be used as an excuse to lead into whatever Survivor Series matchup we get in Survivor Series. Kasi yan yung susunod, diba? After Fastlane. So I think
Saudi show.
The Saudi show, sure.
Yeah,
but I think that's
Saudi
it's a one-off, diba? So like the next stateside, the next main event pay-per-view might actually lead into a Survivor Series matchup with all of these 4 men involved. But for now, I'm gonna say Judgment Day retain.
Emile.
Even though I have feelings about the Judgment Day, which I will elaborate on the bonus audio only episode.
Yeah, right.
So despite of that, I think they're gonna retain. Kasi like Chino said, this is pretty much just a lead in to either it's gonna be a Survivor Series elimination match or a War Games match between Team Judgment Day and the babyfaces. So this is just set up for it. So I'll go with the champs are gonna retain.
All right, Chino. Sorry,
I just answered this.
Yeah, you're right. My bad. I'm not paying attention here. it's interesting. There is a lot of tension, as I mentioned, happening with the Judgment Day. Mac, I don't think Jimmy's gonna interfere. Jimmy's gonna be busy with John Cena and LA Knight. So iba yung ganap niya on Fastlane. Pero because they are in the brink of collapse, I think Judgment Day may drop the belts to Jay and Cody. I actually want to see where that one goes because I don't know if Cody's getting shipped to SmackDown as part of the Jay trade, and I think Judgment Day has been winning a lot, too much even lately. So let's pull the swerve and give Jay and Cody the championship here. All right. Before we move on to the next, to the latter half of the Fastlane card, let us take a quick break and hear from our fellow podcasts once more from the Pod Network. All right, let's proceed with the rest of the card. Babyface producer Jasper, and get this show on the road. Parang nag-skip ata tayo. But anyway, let's move on. Next we have the rematch for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura in a last man standing match, I believe. And is this the time where Nakamura finally beats Seth Rollins? Chino, what do you think?
Ako, I want to say yes. Because last man standing matches are essentially no DQ matches. So a lot of room for shenanigans.
Yeah.
Yes, you can use that argument for both sides. But if they really want to make Shinsuke look good here, look strong, may brutal na mangyayari where he just is able to just take the title away from Rollins. So I'm going to say Shinsuke Nakamura.
Emile.
I said something about this on Twitter when I was watching Raw, and I've noticed now in the last few weeks, it's Shinsuke who is standing tall, and the more he is the man who is the more that he was the guy na laging standing tall sa mga segments, the more I fear na they're not gonna have him win the title, because it's always been that way, right? The last guy standing on the go home show tends to be the guy who will lose at the PLE, at the pay-per-view. So Seth might retain. I feel like Seth will retain, even though I want Shinsuke to win the match and finally end this rivalry. I think Seth will retain, and I'm not gonna like it, but I think that's what's gonna happen. Yeah, I think Seth will. There's a chance. I think he will retain. That's what I'm going with.
God. So if he retains, then what was his heel turn for? Like, what did he become an anime villain for?
You're right. That's what I said nung payback, right? Like, if they had Shinsuke lose that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I think I think this is it. Like I think Seth fizzled out faster than they wanted to. It's nice, but especially if you say that you have a lingering, nagging injury to your body, diba? That pretty much affects your quality of life. Then at some point, the contender will have to beat you because you are less than 100%, maybe even less than less than whatever you are. So I need Nakamura to win this. I'm gonna call Nakamura a win because if that's the feel bad moment, then we can always fix it with the main what I assume is going to be the main event. So let's proceed, Jasper. Okay, we missed a match, but okay. Let's talk about the main event, or what we should think is the main event because it has John Cena. So LA Knight and John Cena versus Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso. So a lot of us called it, and it's going to be LA Knight because he was just down the previous week with COVID. That's why he didn't get to sign the contract. And yun, is it going to be a lock that LA Knight and John Cena beat whatever remains of the bloodline? Chino, what do you think?
Ako, interesting. Wait, I wanted to say no, pero, uh, hmm. Kasi, okay, I'm just gonna think out loud here. If LA Knight and John Cena beat the Usos 2.0, does this mean that John Cena goes on to face Roman Reigns at the Saudi show? Or
Pwede.
if, diba? Pwede, diba? Or if the Usos beat Cena and LA Knight, then what happens to LA Knight's push? Sayang naman, diba? So I'm gonna say Cena and Knight take the W here with the lead up to the Saudi show. Kasi Cena and Roman Reigns always sells tickets.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Emile,
yeah.
Yeah.
How, dun sa point ni Chino, no, I've read some rumors that the Saudi show will have Roman versus AJ. So, pero ano pa lang naman yun? Like, yeah. And that's why he was taken out, di ba? Nung, when AJ was supposed to be Cena's partner for this match.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in terms of this match, I think, yeah, the Cena and LA Knight will win. Kasi the bigger story here is the, Jimmy Uso trying to act like the tribal chief, and it's gonna bite him finally, and he's gonna finally get the Samoan spike from Solo Sikoa at the end of the night. So the babyface is here with the win.
So yun na yung hinihintay mong character development since
Yes,
since,
yeah. I hope I hope they I
since
hope they pull that
SummerSlam,
off.
right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. It's interesting now. I didn't get to see those rumors, pero I actually think we're getting an LA Knight versus John Cena match. So maybe they lose. I don't know. You don't want to have LA Knight lose and John Cena lose as well, but it's possible. I mean, if that's the thing we need to get to a really big match in LA versus Cena, then why not, diba? So, sige, I want to say that I don't know. It's tough then to call. So again, let's just say that I don't know. LA Knight and John Cena win. Then something else happens after that to set up that match. So yeah, we have one match we forgot to talk about. So let's talk about the real main event: LWO versus Lashley and the Profits. really quick, really quickly. I'm just gonna say it. Lashley and the Profits have to win here because they just turned heel. So, yeah, just sound off with your picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, ako din. Lashley and the Profits. It doesn't make sense to have the
Same
LWO
thing.
win.
Same reason. Yeah.
That's laughter, pero
Yeah.
talaga yung main
Plus,
event.
do you think the LWO will break?
We'll break up. I think so.
No, do you think LWO will break up after this? Yeah.
After this?
They
I
should.
don't think after this,
Honestly,
like after
they
this
should.
match, pero eventually, kasi they are teasing a little tension between Santos and Ray. So tapos may Dragon Lee pa. So a lot of moving parts there. We'll talk about Dragon Lee in the audio only, pero it's possible kasi they never really did much with LWO, and now Ray kind of outgrew the need for LWO kasi Dom's not even on the same brand anymore. So yeah, it's possible. We'll talk about it later. All right. This brings us to the end of our live stream for the week. Before we go, though, you guys have any plugs? Chino, plug away.
Joketoberfest. There we go.
Yes,
That's
sir.
what I want to talk about. Joketoberfest is the largest comedy festival we have in the country. It's probably the only one we have in the country. 9 straight days of pure stand-up comedy from the very best in Comedy Manila. That's October 14 to 22, Saturday to Sunday. All throughout that week, you can have at least 2 shows a day all over Metro Manila. Meron pang online, so it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can watch the very best of Pinoy stand-up comedy. For all the tickets, just head to www.comedymanila.ph/shows.
Emile, you got anything to plug? Emile. Emile.
He
All
is
right, got nothing to
frozen.
plug. Yeah, he's frozen.
I'm good. Oh, sorry. Walang plugs. Wala namang plugs.
All right.
Yeah.
Sige. As for me, please subscribe to MWF on Facebook and YouTube. Kasi on YouTube, MWF is releasing full episodes of the Action Novela TV episode that airs on RJ Rock of Manila TV each week. So if you want to catch it for some reason, for any reason, without the ads, without RJ singing Adobong Baboy, you can just go watch it on YouTube to catch up, diba? So, syempre, there's also Gank. If you want to watch the episodes early, just go to ManilaWrestling.com to subscribe to Gank for around $10 or around 500 something pesos. They accept GCash and PayPal and credit or debit card. If you want to get ahead of the game. We also have MWF Todos Us Wrestling. It is the Halloween show. It's happening on October 22. That's a Sunday. You can come in costume. I believe there are special prizes in store for people wearing the best costumes at the show. So it's going to be fun at Mandala Park. Tickets are available at tickettome.net. And syempre, follow us na rin on TikTok, Twitter, Threads at Wrestling2XPod, and syempre on Facebook and YouTube. Wrestling Podcast for more content. We clip the shows, we provide reels, we highlight some of the most viral moments on wrestling TV every week. So a bunch of that stuff. If you miss anything, you can go watch that because we've been told that we help people catch up with wrestling. So thank you so much to everyone who's listening to us for their weekly dose of wrestling content and feels processing. So yun, that brings us to the end for real of our live stream this week. Thank you once again to our wonderful staff on the Pod Network, Babyface producer Jasper, who created the brand new OBB that's up to date. You can follow us at Wrestling2XPod again on Twitter, at Chino Supersize, as it says on his banner, at EML_Meister, at Monday Night Rowan, NITE, at _Stancy. Go say hey to Stan. He's absent tonight. And you can follow me as well on at Row is War. So, yun. Once again, this has been the Wrestling Podcast. Back at you with another episode in the book. So until next week, we'll see ya. Be nice, be good, stay warm, stay dry, guys, and don't be a dick. Wrestling Podcast out. Peace.